What's up guys, Sam Adams here, and we have some bad news to discuss today because if you're a fan of the Nintendo Wii U as well as racing simulators, then you might know that Project Cars got cancelled yesterday, and that was kind of disappointing to me because the Wii U version had been talked about since the very start of development, and it had just been kind of ongoing and continuously rolling over like, no, it's coming, it's still in development, we're still working on it, and now it just got cancelled. And it was confirmed by the publisher Bandai Namco that this was true whenever Slightly Mad Studios, the developers of Project Cars, announced it, and so we're going to talk about that for just a little while. But first off, if you don't know what Project Cars is, it is probably the most realistic racing simulator that I have seen in the past couple of years, and people ranging from novice gamers to the professionals that actually race real racing cars have all said that this is a really good racing simulator, and a lot of people are excited to hear that it's coming out on the Wii U, but unfortunately that was cancelled and the Wii U's hardware just didn't hold up. Personally, whenever I think about what the problem with the Wii U's hardware is, I first think of the RAM, which is random access memory. And if you don't know what that is, or you're not that tech savvy and you just play the games, pretty much RAM is where you have, your subconscious thoughts and your conscious thoughts. And so if you're, say, need to remember how to carve a pumpkin or something, that's in your subconscious, being, and you can bring that forward and use it for a time, and now it's in your conscious thoughts. That's kind of how random access memory works. It takes whatever you are working on at the moment and brings it to the forefront, gives that the most of the computing power and the graphics power, and it makes that run the best it possibly can. And here's a little diagram of how much each system has. So over here, you've got the Xbox 360 and the PlayStation 3 that has 512 megabits of RAM, which is not that much. It did for the last generation consoles. It did. I say that it accomplished the goal of playing games. Over here, you've got the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One. These things, I like to think of them as low-end PCs, if that makes any sense, if you're comparing it to some kind of other kind of gaming hardware. It's got 8 gigabytes of RAM, which is a good bit. I think my computer has 16 gigabytes of RAM, but this one will definitely get the job done, and that's why a lot of the multitasking stuff can happen on the Xbox One and PlayStation 4. And then right smack dab here in the middle, you've got the Wii U that's not quite as good as the hardcore stuff down on this end, but it's way better than the stuff on this end, and that puts Nintendo at a really awkward spot right in the middle of quality. When it comes down to it, had Project Cars actually come out on the Nintendo Wii U, it probably wouldn't have sold that well because you got the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One versions. So obviously with this 2 gigabytes of RAM, you're not going to be able to have the same kind of game that you would on the Xbox One and PlayStation 4, so it would have been dulled down like the old Call of Duty Nintendo Wii games where it was just, terrible, like Call of Duty 4 Reflex Edition or whatever it was. And it would just be a lower quality game, so it would have sold way better on the Xbox One and PlayStation 4. That being said, the reason Nintendo is still in existence is because of its exclusives like Mario and like Kirby and all of that good stuff. That is why Nintendo really still sticks out in the gaming market, and that's where it really needs to, keep a firm hold on the share of that kind of market because they rule exclusives, and that's kind of why I still like Nintendo, is just because they don't fall into the path that other companies do. They don't follow the whole Borderlands Handsome Collection thing. Obviously their hardware couldn't run that anyway, but still it's just like they have this nice unique vibe, and that's why Nintendo still is around. So now back to the topic at hand. 2 weeks after Project Cars came out, Project Cars 2 was announced to be in development, and that would probably take a couple of years to complete if I was guessing. So with the Nintendo NX on the horizon, which of course is Nintendo's new home hardware console thing that's coming out sometime predicted to be in 2017, imagine it takes a couple of years for Project Cars 2 to be developed, and all of the improvements and advancements required to sell copies are put into that game and developed. Would that not line up pretty well to make it a launch title for the Nintendo NX and really come back and say, we made this promise for the Wii U? However, we made Project Cars 2 specifically for the Wii U 2 or whatever it's going to be called, or the Nintendo NX. That seems like it might be a pretty good possibility, and that might be why Nintendo's not that upset about the game being cancelled. So there you guys have it. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I really do hope that Project Cars 2 comes out on Nintendo's NX console, because the guys that play Nintendo definitely deserve some kind of good racing game other than just Mario Kart, because there are some hardcore fans that have Nintendo hardware, and we would like to have that kind of experience on a Nintendo console. But that's beside the point. I guess we'll just have to wait 2 years and see what happens. But if you've enjoyed this video, don't forget to click below and check out some of the other stuff. I've linked some of my other channels down there, and of course there are links up there, or up there I believe, And if you are new to the channel, don't forget to head over and check out some of my other content. I make new videos 4 or 5 days a week, normally talking about video game related news and topics and discussions in general. So if that sounds like something you might want to check out in the future, you might want to consider clicking that subscribe button right there and really do me a favor and add to my subscriber count. But as always, I just want to thank each and every one of you guys for watching this particular video. I'll talk to you soon. Peace.